everybody. Welcome back to the Empire Let's Play series. Between episodes, I said I was going to do a couple of things. One was I was going to do some AFK over here at our mob farm. And after a bit of AFK, we have a lot of stuff. So we're getting tons of gunpowder, tons of bones, tons of arrows, and some fun other things too. The other thing I said I was going to do was heal up my tools. And I started to. Right now, if we want to heal up tools, we come over here to the zombie farm, and we hit a bunch of zombies. We get the XP, and we heal up our stuff. And it's just so slow, and it just takes forever. So today, I would like to use some of the materials we got from our mob farm, and a little bit of redstone know-how, and build a real XP farm. And you can see, I did a little bit of work here cleaning out some space. I grabbed all this stuff and I moved it over towards where we're going to build our storage facility. And I just put it in chests and left it by the side of the road. So we're going to build a tiny little farm in this space here that will produce a massive amount of XP, hopefully. And it will involve a little bit of redstone, a little bit of potion making, and a tiny bit of unethical armadillo treatment. Here we have an XP farm. A lot going on here actually in this little space. So the most obvious thing is we have a couple of armadillos sitting on top of a campfire. The other obvious thing is you can hear a zombie moaning and groaning. You'll notice that the armadillos are constantly scared, and that is because I have a zombie buried right next to them, and that keeps them in the kind of hiding mode. Now, when I push this button, A little bit of redstone goes around to that dispenser back there, and it will light this campfire. Now, one thing that's interesting about armadillos is when they are rolled up like this, they take damage, but they don't die. So you'll see them look like they're getting hurt, but they don't actually accumulate that damage. And then over here, I have a button that when I push that, there's some redstone back here that will momentarily dispense water to extinguish the campfire. And that's just because when we push this button, they make a terrible noise. And so I want to be able to stop that. Now, the final thing here is we have some splash potions of infestation. What that means is if we put this on them, every time they take damage, they're going to make silverfish. And silverfish are a great source of XP. Let's see if I can lob this in here. Here they come. Now you'll notice here that there's just a little sliver of space here. And I think I can even walk on top of it. Yeah, and I can't get hurt. The silverfish can't quite get out. And when I hit them, we get a lot of XP. Looks like some of the silverfish are getting stuck on top of the campfire, so I might need to noodle with that a little bit. The other thing is we currently have 2 armadillos in there. And if we made more armadillos, we would get more silverfish. Well, we might need to make a couple of little adjustments, but otherwise I think it's pretty successful. If you do decide to breed these armadillos, the babies can slip out, and so you would want to pull the glass out here and kind of surround them so that the babies don't escape. The other thing is, this farm does need to be made out of glass because the silverfish will eat right through the stone or will embed themselves in the stone, and it just turns into a huge mess. So yeah, this is all optional as far as the redstone. You could certainly just leave the campfire on or manually, use a shovel to turn it off and flint and steel to turn it on. But I just thought it was kind of fancy to add a couple of buttons. One other thing I got while I was AFK was a bunch of glow ink. We now have over a stack of glow ink sacks. And I know that there's more throughout some of the villages. And so I think we have plenty to start putting signs on our road. I did a couple of test signs several episodes ago, and I've been looking at them every time we ride by them on our horse, and I don't love them. I have a different idea, I think, of how I want to proceed with signage. So right now we have signage on all of our villages except for Rawlins. But you can see right on the front of the city here it says Coltrane in nice bright letters. So we'll add a sign like that to Rawlins as well. And then as far as road signs, I don't know if we really need any other signs except, if there's like a build like this, or if there's an intersection. So, where the Southland and all of that is, there's an intersection down there. And so we should have some signage there. And then over here, there's going to be some signage as well, because we're going to have an intersection here. So as we come down the road, we'll need to have a sign situation here, because if we keep going forward, we're going to end up at the Hilltop Village. And if we go in this direction, it'll go off to the taiga. And I think that's what I want the signage to say, is what the next village is that you're going to run into. So instead of having, signs pointing this direction and that direction, we'll probably have a sign like here that says the Hilltop Village is next. And we'll have a sign like up here that says Coltrane is next. And then we'll have a sign, like here that says what the next village is in that direction. And as far as the signs themselves, I think I might do like maybe like little stacks of stone with a sign that, you know, glows. And we could do some different materials there, you know, add a little bit of character to kind of reflect where the signs are. We'll try some different things out and see what we think. So right now, this is our sign test. So you can see I put two signs here, one that said Southland in that direction and Jungle in that direction. And the idea was I wanted the signs to be visible from whatever direction. So if we were writing in this direction, we could see those two signs. And if we were coming up here, we could potentially see these two signs. And then if we were coming from this direction, we would need a couple more signs here. That's too many signs. So what I would like to do is not have any signs at the intersection itself, but, you know, like maybe right down here, have a sign that says Southland. And right over here, a sign that says Mingus. And a sign over here that says, you know, map library or something like that. So let me try a couple things out and see what you all think. And now we have some nice signs. And they look okay from the back as well. I was concerned that they might look weird, but they don't. That one looks real good, Southland. Went ahead and used yellow ink just because the regular glow without any sort of color looks kind of peculiar. So I don't know if we'll go with yellow everywhere. Yellow's a nice color for signs. So we'll see. Map library, that looks great. And then Mingus. And I use different materials on the posts or the pedestals there to kind of signify some of the materials available in that area. The Mingus one I think looks really great. When we come up from either direction, it's very clear what's going on there. Same with the Southland. Very, very clear what's happening. The map library is not quite as clear until you get, you know, a little bit in or lined up just right. I could move the sign up top here. That might make a little more sense. I'll let it sit for a little bit. We'll see how I feel about it. I think the last thing we're going to do today is we're going to run over to the desert and talk a little bit about our plans over there. Still have a lot of work to do over here. I did get this little section installed. It's nothing fancy, but it does connect the tunnel to the bridge. And we still have a lot of work to do over here in the tunnel. Okay, let's go ahead and park our horse here. All right, welcome to the desert. So that's where our road will come out. The road will come across like this. Probably have a tiny little bridge across this bit of water here. And then we're going to continue over towards this village. This is the desert village that we discovered a long time ago. And we do have a couple of villagers sealed up over there. Now, we got a suggestion, gosh, months ago that said we should, instead of building a bridge, build a dock. And I think that's a cool idea. So right here, we're going to build like a little pier, like a dock or something. And then we can just boat across rather than, oh, hello, camel, rather than having another bridge. We might end up with bridges in the desert, but I just think it would be fun to kind of switch it up a little bit. Off in the distance, there's also a little desert temple, so we'll have to investigate that. But we're going to save that for next episode. We're going to get to work on this village, see if we can get it all populated, and give it a name. And that's where I'm going to wrap this one up. If you want to be like these folks and help support the channel, click join down below or scan the code on the screen. And thanks for watching. I hope you had fun. Please like and subscribe if you want to follow along on the adventure, and I hope to see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.